365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. Today we are going to be meeting our service hero. His name is Sidney Clevenger, and he has a story. He has a story that I'm excited to get to know, and I know you are going to be too. He's actually taken that story and is doing some very big stuff. So let's talk to Sidney. Sidney, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. So you got a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of. Now let me guys, let me share a picture because I pulled this picture here, and let's see, where is it? That here you are. You look a little different in this one.
A little different. Yeah, probably a little different now. Oh, yeah. A little less hair.
A little
There you
less
go.
hair. And
Yeah, a
so
little less hair.
you've been growing the hair for given the whole thing that's going on right now.
Not on purpose, but I've been keeping it as trim as I can. I don't have any. I always go get like my barber to trim my beard and do my hair. So my wife, she had said, "Hey, how about you let me try?" About 3 weeks ago, and I just couldn't do it. So here in Dallas, I think they announced today that they're going to be opening up barbers and stuff next week. So I'm just kind of waiting it out. But it's definitely gotten really itchy, and I've had to go get some beard products and keep it intact because it's like
You know what, women? I'm so thrilled that we have Sid here with us today because we're going to have some fun. And
yes,
as everybody is jumping on, hello, Rachel Johnson. It's so good to see you today. And if you want to help to welcome people in, that would be awesome. I would love it, Rachel.
sure.
And just to let you know, I don't know if you know, but I have a community that most likely will be showing up. So, and they
Hmm.
love to chat with
Sure.
each other, and it becomes a little bit
Awesome.
of a party. And especially right now, with everybody having a little bit of that shut-in thing going on, everybody's
Yeah.
enjoying getting together and visiting. And
Mhm.
so let's start this. You I had never really thought about it, to be honest with you, that a guy
Mhm.
goes into the barber and having the because I know a lot of women right now, a lot of us are getting new hairdos every single day. Like, okay,
Yeah.
when like today, it's a always a kind of a grab bag, and
Yeah.
yet you're having the actual itchy thing going on.
Yeah, you can kind of see where like it's overgrown in specific spots, around. And I'm using some beard oil and stuff like that, so it keeps it tame. But it's like, especially down here at the line, it's usually tapered, and now it's all like super long. And then up here in my ear area too, and then like back here, it's been no fun. I especially like taking showers and stuff like that when your hair gets heavy, and like I got really, really coarse, thick
Yeah,
beard.
I
So
can
like,
see that.
yeah, so it's just, it's itchy just talking, even, but then even like little things, like I've always gotten my beard trimmed. So when I go to the barber, I've been getting it trimmed for 2 weeks ever since I've had a beard, so I would go in there and they would always trim my lip. The thing is I haven't had that. So all I've had is scissors. So I've had to like literally get scissors and trim around my mouth the best I can. Because at one point it had gotten to where the hair was down here on my bottom lip, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm eating hair every day. I can't do it. But other than that, it's just been fun. Kind of. It's been fun. I guess to be honest with you, getting to do something different, getting to go on an adventure. That's kind of how my wife and I
Yeah.
have looked at it with Corona. We, beyond, what your beliefs are, or who you believe behind it, or what side you're on, um, you know, community, like you had said, has been kind of the one thing that's kept not only us, but a lot of what we've seen our peers, in our businesses go through, especially over the past, I would say 6 weeks since we've been in quarantine. That's been the one thing that's driven, Tiffany, my wife and I's businesses has not faltered at all. We've actually increased our run rate. We've increased increase how much money we're making on a monthly basis. Yeah, we're online, but at the same time, it's because we did one big thing. We drew community together, and we got people working with us that maybe would have never worked with us before, but we didn't really care about the front end money. We ended up throwing out an offer of like 99.6% off, and we framed up the offer to be what people needed right now, not what's their agenda. And I think there's just a lot of that people aren't doing. They're trying to jam in the same offers and the same things to people, or the same things that they offered before this thing, and they're trying to jam it into a hole that's just not there right now. Because people right now, people are still buying stuff. It's just the
Right.
types of ways they're buying stuff, right? It's just it's the same thing it is before. It's just a different game, and some people I think have just been scared to pivot. But we recognized that very early on. We really put a lot of focus in on our community, our free community, and then that helped us, pull those people together. And then when we helped somebody, those people said, "Oh, he helped me with this. I'm sure he can help me with that."
Right. Okay. So let's talk about who you are, because I can't wait to dive into this, because
Sure.
I know that there's like some major nuggets here that we're going to be learning, guys. So we're talking to a businessman, a very successful businessman today, and that has a heart that he and his wife are very dedicated to their community, and has a story. So let's go into the story. You, a few years ago, were at a whole different place than you are today,
I was in
right?
a pink bedroom. I was in a pink bedroom about the size of this room, maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, I grew up like in Eastern Kentucky. When I grew up in my little town, there was under 1,000 there in the town. It was, I think, 300, 400 people. Something like, everybody knew each other. It was one of those types of towns, in the South. And I grew up, just extremely competitive. My first word actually was ball. My dad literally brainwashed me so much as a child that my first word was ball, not mama or
Ball.
dad. It
Okay,
was
ball.
ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And, from then on out, I was super competitive. And I, grew up playing sports. I didn't growing up in the South, or whatever. I could have went fishing. I could have done all these things, but my dad grew up getting me into sports, and that drew me into being very competitive. To this day, I hate losing. Whatever it might be, I just hate losing. Like, and it's not like having to be the best at this or the best at that. It's figuring out how all of us can win together, and all of us winning. It's a drive to help everybody, including me and Tiffany and my wife, but everybody around us, and everybody that is around us or near us or whatever, into an abundant kind of way. And that's movement. That's creating movement, and that's creating mass movement, and that's what we're looking to do here. And by doing that with having a mission or a cause where it's bigger than you or yourself, that's exactly what this whole thing is. And those people that are doing that, and they're creating missions and movements around this coronavirus, man, that's special. And those are the people that are winning. I mean, Tiffany and I have coaches this past month that reached over, I think one of them reached over $500,000, which was, in the past 30 days. Why? Because they thought about, and they brought in community, and they created what's called a liquidation offer that was around 99% off. And they said, listen, I don't care about the money. I want to bring community. Over 3,000 people signed up, and there you go.
So, okay, you grew up in a small town. You played
Oh yeah.
sports, and on your, you talk about that at one time, not long ago, you were passing out in the bathroom.
Yeah. When I moved, so I've had challenges with panic attacks and anxiety attacks since I was born. I was the kid that was told he had ADD before I was out of the womb. Um, I was put on medicine very young. Doctors told, my parents and everybody else that, I was whatever with my head. And that was kind of, you get put into kind of that bubble at a young age. And I felt that. I, to this day, still am on medicine for it. I am working on weaning off of it and getting onto some more natural types of medicine for it. But it's one of those things where I've had challenge with that for a long time, when I had moved to Dallas, I'd been here So I was living with my parents. Had gotten divorced. Had a ex partner that had a business partner that had embezzled about $108,000 out of our company. My name was half on that company, so I had it. That happened back to back days. I was making at the time. Man, my mind was so small, but I thought I was a big time. I was making like $10,000 a month. I thought I was big time. Business, I had a healthy business that was doing really well. I had a business partner that I thought was handling the stuff that I hated. I had a wife that I'd met in Florida, Brazilian. She was amazing. I loved her, I thought. And we had a house, and I had 3 cars. I had everything I could ever want. Like, I was the king in my community. Like, everybody looked to me and was like, I want to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I was in Kentucky, so like the cost of living in Kentucky is very, very small. So like 10 grand a month goes very, very far in Kentucky. That's not the same here in Dallas, but very, very far in Kentucky. So it was just kind of that thing. And when I moved here, it was hard. I moved to Dallas. I picked up one day, and literally I had a yard sale, made a decision, picked a date, and hopped in my little 2012 Honda Civic at the time and packed it up with everything I could. I had sold a lot of my clothes, so I only had one pair of jeans, a pair of shorts, a couple of polos, and some T-shirts. And then I brought my TV, ironically, a bottle of bourbon, and yeah, my golf clubs. Um, and then I had ordered some furniture, so I had about $3,300. So I had went to like the WalMarts and the Overstocks and all that, and got like the cheapest futon I could find, the cheapest like studio bed. The thing was, it was so cheap, and I was like 85 pounds heavier, that within 2 weeks I had broken the bed. So I had like a square frame in my room, and I had a 335 square foot apartment. So I had like a frame and a headboard, but like how like you have the wooden slats. So those had
Yeah,
broken.
yeah,
So I had
yeah,
like the middle spine that I had to rip out. Yeah, I had to rip out the middle spine because the slats had broken and they had cracked. So I couldn't like sleep on it without like my bed falling into the box. So I ended up having to rip out the middle there for a while, and I literally slept on the floor on a mattress within a box for like 4 or 5 months. I had a futon that I had broken the legs off of. Again, this was all because I was overweight at the time and I didn't realize it, but I had broken the legs off my futon, the back legs off my futon, because I was sitting on the futon and the legs literally just went out from under me. So like at one time I was living in that little apartment. I had a TV that was on the floor. I had broken futon, which had no legs, and this is after I had moved to Dallas. And then I had this little table that I'm using actually right now temporarily while we're waiting on some furniture here. But I had this like little $40 table I'd gotten at like IKEA. I remember I went to IKEA to get pick up some furniture when I first got here, and I spent $200 at IKEA, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am big time. Again, like I remember those days, and yeah, and then we, but I had came here to try to restart what I had done in Kentucky. And I had never been to Dallas. I had never been to Texas. I had never flown over Texas even. I had, the farthest west I had been by myself was right about the Mississippi River. So like I had lived in Florida, but that was a massive failure. I don't know, it was only there for 2.5 years. And I had one good year there, but then, other than that, it was a massive failure. And I had to come back home, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm about to do the exact same thing again, but this time I'm moving to a place I have no clue, and I have no idea what I'm gonna make my next paycheck. So I had moved in, and I had, through my yard sale, had about $3,300. When I had got my little apartment and all that, of course I had to put a deposit down and all that. So when I had moved and everything, the dust and all that had settled, and I had like a mattress to sleep on and all that, I had about, I don't know, it was like $1,500 or $1,600 left. And I was like, okay, so I can survive on this for like 30 to 45 days. I can float for maybe 2 months if I need to. Yeah, and like, it's go time. So I literally started, I was I had software developer. So I worked with a lot of restaurants. I was doing like online ordering for restaurants. And so I was literally knocking on doors. I was Googling specific types of restaurants in Dallas. And then I was literally like, because I had to be very careful about my gas money. I couldn't just go back and forth. So like I literally would find restaurants and do paths. And then like I would go to a clump, and then I'd like, literally bounce around in neighborhoods. And I did it the old fashioned way. I didn't know anything really about what I'm doing now, or like I knew a little bit about it. But my whole thing was, I need to get money. I need to get money now. So I had to go find customers now. And, it was a massive failure. I moved here, didn't know anybody. Nobody knew me. It was a massive city. So like, I didn't have the opportunity here because all those bigger companies are already here than I had in Kentucky. So like, it was a guess and a massive fail. So all of a sudden I come here and I've signed up 0 people. I'm falling into massive depression here in Dallas, and I'm running out of money fast. And I don't know what I'm going to do. It get to a point to where like I don't have the money to pay my rent or my car payment, and I don't have health insurance. I don't have any of that. And to the point where I remember I used to smoke, and I'd go downstairs, and I remember I'd like look for like cigarette butts because I couldn't afford to go get even 99-cent like Black and Milds. So like I was literally at that point. And I remember like a couple of days I wouldn't eat for 4 or 5 days. I remember once, I mean, this is flat out disgusting, but I went in and I got like, it was like probably an 8 or 9 month like old like thing of spaghetti, and then like noodles, and I literally like that was my meal for like 2 days. And then when I opened it, it looked like there was like something in the spaghetti. So I like cut it out, and I hoped, but I still had to eat it because I was starving and I didn't have any money. So I mean, I remember having those days. I just remember being so mad. Like, I don't know what to do. I feel alone. I got no one here. I don't know anybody. I don't have any friends. And I'm sitting here in this little apartment trying to make something of myself in a city that I barely know. It was literally a restart. And yeah, one time I had went and I hadn't eaten in a few days, and I just sort of had like an anxiety attack, and I didn't remember what had happened. And I was sitting actually at this table in this chair, and I got up, and I just remember I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't breathe, and I blacked out. And when I woke up, I was literally like stark naked and laying face down on the floor. And it was like 2 or 3 hours later, and I was like sweating. And I was literally just, I was fuming. I was so mad. And I was like, I can't, this is not normal. Like, I can't, and I didn't know anything about, like, at the time, I had not met my wife. So, like, my wife's a neuro person. So she like works with the mind. So, like, I didn't know anything about even like conscious or subconscious mind at the basic level. I was just like, I got to get better. I don't know how to get better. And, I woke up, and I'll never forget, like, I got up and I wrote a post, and that was like, I don't want to say a jump start, but it definitely was probably like the first time I realized that I could at this, like, kind of what I'm doing now. And I got up and I wrote a post, and the post was all about how I'm just furious. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks. This is what just happened. Like, I'm sitting, I think I wrote in the post, I'm sitting here like, in my underwear or naked right now writing this post because I am so mad. I woke up just minutes ago from having a massive panic attack, and I don't remember falling. I don't remember my clothes coming off. I don't remember like being face down in the bath until like I woke up. And I just wrote this. That was just a rant. And I was just like, this is not cool, and I don't know what to do. I'm literally lost right now, and I don't know what to do, and I'm really scared, and I'm in a big city by myself, and I feel like I'm all alone. And I want to say I had like, that was the first time, I think I want to say I had like over 1,000 engagements on the post, and I had all these people that I didn't think was like, liked me at all, and I thought was just out there, and they all came, a good amount of people came to me. They're like, dude, like, whatever you need. Like, I had people that came over that night, but it was the first time I was working with a coach. His name was Alex Sharfin, and he's like a systems type guy. And I kind of looked up to him, and I hadn't like been able to afford any of his stuff, but I had like at the time absorbed some of his free courses. And he got onto my post, and I'll never forget this. And I actually talked to him about this about a month ago. He was on one of our shows, and I was like, dude, I don't know. I got to thank you because I don't know if you remember this post, but I was like, I made this post, and you went on my post, and you put this like heartfelt, like, you're right. This is not right. This is not normal. Sid, you are not alone. Don't ever think you're alone. I remember like word for word what this guy wrote, and he was like in shock. And I told him that, but I'll never forget, for the next like 7 to 10 days, I was seeing him on social media on Facebook, and he was talking about how to get rid of panic attacks. And I was like, I moved this guy that I looked up to so much that after I had my post, he went on this massive like training about panic attacks, and he even started putting some of the stuff into his coursework. And I talked to him about that, and he was like, dude, you inspired me so much. He was like, you have no idea. And he was like, it's not normal that someone comes out and talks about it like that.
Right.
And I think, I've written like 7 books, and like, in a lot of times in my books, a lot of that talks about just that whole big long story all comes back to, facing, getting up and just kind of facing whatever's in front of you. All of us have stuff that's right in front of us. All of us have demons from the past. I have demons from the past. I got things that come back at me all the time, and I'm open enough to stand up here and say it, because I believe my highest intention is to help people that are scared of facing it. That I have the strength, that I have that I have maybe in a way the rudeness to be able, and the grit to be able to like, listen, I'm not going to stay quiet, because your life, it literally depends on it. And I don't
Right.
think people realize that's the stakes here, your life.
Right. And, thank you for going into that so thoroughly,
Yeah.
because that right now, that's why this show, I used to number them, and right now I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dating them, because of the fact I want us to be able to look back and say what was happening on April the
Sure.
24th in the year 2020, right? And it's a very unique, significant time. Many people right now are saying, I hear ya. I hear ya. I did not know that this was going to happen. I didn't choose to move to another area. However, right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm having a problem rubbing a few pieces, paper together, a few pennies together, whatever it may be. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm having those moments in time right now that I'm starting to have those panic attacks. I'm having
Mm-hmm.
the anxiety. There are so many. Yet the hope that's out there is so huge. That's why
Yeah.
you were actually nominated, and I want to recognize Andrea Adam Miller, that she actually nominated you as a service hero, because she said, Tamara, you need to talk to this guy. He's a business guy that he has now created all these businesses. He's helping others to do the same thing. He's there with his wife. He's, and everything. And he's got a story. So as I started researching you, and I'm realizing, wow, this was not very many years ago. Because
Mm-mm.
some people would say, oh yeah, but that you've written all
Some
these books,
story.
you have all these businesses, you've done all this.
Mm-mm.
That was not very many years ago that this happened, right?
Mm-mm. No, I moved to Dallas. Let's see here. I had a gun in my mouth in that pink bedroom on December 24th, 2016. And I moved, the day I moved to Dallas was April 5th, 2017. So we're talking just over 3 years. However, I hit my first, I moved to Dallas when I had my first $10,000 month was October. And then I had my first $50,000 month in December. So it wasn't too, even though I'm sitting here and it's been 3 years, you're talking, I mean, I remember sitting again at this desk, up against the wall, and I would look to the left, and I had like a little like kitchen, it was very small. So I had like a little kitchen, and I'll never forget. I looked over, and it was like, I remember this like the T, it was 12:26. And I had a partner at the time. So like I've always been told that, like I talk about superpowers a lot. And like my superpower is the ability, I might not be able to communicate the best way at times. But at the same time, I'm not afraid to get up and talk. So I'm not afraid to like just go up and generate conversation with people. So like I remember just I was like, after I had kind of built this little business on my own very, very fast, I got recognized and was asked to partner up with someone else in this game very early. And I remember looking over, and I was sitting there and I was like, golly, if I could just make like $3,000, like if we could just make like 2 sales over the next like 2 weeks, like my life is fixed. I'm good. Like I have everything I need. I don't, I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, I'll never, it was 12:26 when I saw that. It was like at 1:30. I'll never forget. My partner called me, and she's like, yeah, so we just closed this deal, and this deal. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, so we have, I was like $14,000, something like that. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, so what we need to do is this, and this. And I'll never forget that feeling that I got, that all of a sudden through, I think it was 3 sales, my entire life, like all the worry, all the, oh my gosh, like, am I going to be homeless? Am I going to be able to eat? Am I going to be able to do this? It was 3 sales. And I had everything that I could have ever like thought of that necessity. So then I became like, oh my gosh, like now I can be me. I can be free. I don't have to worry. I got 2 months, 3 months of livability now. I don't have to worry about, am I going to have a bed? I can go out and be
Mm.
me. And I'll never forget that. And it was so quick. It was an hour, and then all of a sudden, I remember, and then it was just like, okay, let's have some fun. Let's create a game. How much can we have? And that was fun. And now I have my own business, and we have, a couple of different businesses around that. And then Tiffany and I are, anything we can kind of do to make money. But my whole thing and our big thing is that we have higher intentions in life that are bigger than what it is even that we do every day. It isn't even, the everyday, or it's the core influence of who we are. It's what we're able to make the world feel like by being able to walk, talk, and act like who we are every single day. And yeah, that's me and my wife. That was actually from that was a promotion that we were doing as part of this coronavirus. We ran a $79 promotion. Typically, it would be around a $25,000 thingy. And we said, listen, we don't really care about the money at this point. We just want to help people. So anybody that wants to work with us, it's $79 you're paying to basically for us to put this together. And it's like, we just want to help people. And we've been able to sign up, I think, like 20, 22 people so far. And we haven't really we've talked about it like twice. So, it's really neat to kind of see how, community will come together, and people still need help. People still, and I think, service is what we're in, and what I'm in the business of, being able to help provide service. So again, nothing's ever difficult. It's only different. And when the coronavirus hit, there was a lot of people that went into, oh no, why me? I have to close. I know a furniture shop right now that's killing it, and he wasn't selling online before, and all of a sudden he starts literally going into his furniture shop, taking pictures on his iPhone, and going into the Facebook marketplace and putting these things up and saying, call this number if you want this. I will deliver it for free. And in 48 hours, I think he had made like 10 grand. It was more than, it's like all of a sudden, like it's just a reframe.
Right.
It's just understanding, life in general is a game. This whole thing is a game. Sales is a game. Business is a game. Life is a game. It's a game. And, we need to decide, and this is the same thing going with my clients. We need to decide, okay, Sid, you're sitting here. You just moved into this house up on the lake on this date. Bam. What do I want by this date? Bam. Okay, what am I going to do to get there? That's an execution plan. That's it. That's what we build. And you looking at it as a CEO at that level is the way we have to be CEOs of our life.
Right.
Again, we are in 100% control of our life. I screw up all the time. I screwed up hours ago. I had this kind of like, I don't want to say mental breakdown, but I got mad about something, lost my cool about something, but then, reset, bring the joy, Sid, bring the joy, and came back into what I needed to do. The thing was, though, is, that is going to happen to all of us. Even you, whoever's watching this, we all have those things. We're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. Hey, believe me, ask my wife. I make hundreds of mistakes. The thing is, it's with intent, but it's also understanding that it's okay to, while living in your superpower, if you're willing to, step on that line to help more people, I feel like that's okay. Right. Not saying you break the law or you do anything like that. But I mean, like, my point is like, I'm willing to work that extra bit harder. I'm willing to push myself that extra bit more so that I can help those people. Look at whatever you're doing with your superpower, whatever that is, help people with it. Don't think, so many people, I got to make money. Screw that. Go out there and figure out, how can I take what I am naturally the best at? How can I take what the God-given talents that I was given, that the five closest people around me begged me daily, weekly, that, oh my gosh, you're so good at that. I mean, my dad used to tell me, you're so good at just talking to random people. I didn't think much of it, but I remember him telling me that when I was little. I'd be like, yeah, doesn't everybody? I was like 12 years old.
I can
everybody does
that. I can see it. Well,
Yeah.
Andrea right now is saying here, we all win when we all win. It's actually a quote of yours. And it really rounds out what you were just sharing in that, it's, if you can be helping those that need it, it's like, okay, it's just going to happen. Then those those five people, what are they asking you all the time, every day? What are they always asking you for?
Yeah.
We all win when we all win. She also shares here a quote of yours, which is, when I realized I could be free and be me, my whole outlook changed for the better. So
Yeah.
you had like a aha moment, it sounds like, that, okay, my life can be better when I just realized I can be me. I can be free to be me. I can go out there and do what you're doing. And now you have multiple different businesses that you started. It's interesting that the post that you started with was a rant because of what happened physically, and
Yeah.
now you've written books and you are out there lecturing and helping people when it comes to social media and marketing and advertising, and how do you take your business out there and affect, others. And you're doing it with a heart, because you're also, I love the community piece of it. I had a big talk with, and I noticed that she was here, and I don't know if she's still with us right now, but um, that we have Caroline Apende from NGO Whisperer International Magazine and TV show. I just interviewed with her, and we were talking about how community is the key. The key.
Yeah.
You're mentioning it here. Community is the key. And the fact that right now, though we can't necessarily do the old fashioned community, like the horse and buggy, we're going to get down at the community square, and
Yeah.
we're going to do the potluck, we're
Yeah.
going to do the barbecue, we're going to do all those things.
Yeah.
No, we not. But this period of time with Corona, we have something unique, and you are totally tapped into it. You and your wife are totally tapped into it, and you're tapped into it with your community. You are online. You are
Oh yeah.
using social media. You're using it, not only using it, you're teaching it. So let's talk about that. How are you
Sure.
helping others? Because that's what we're really talking about right now. Those people that are, for business or for volunteer, whatever it is, how are they making a difference today to help others to get through this period of time? And you're helping them with community. You're helping them with how can they. I was thinking about this a lot. There's so many people that are saying, I need to rework, like that furniture company. I love the example. I need to rework myself. I need to be able to rework just slightly, and so that I can not only survive this, that I can come out of this, or I can actually today, I can be just totally winning through this, and in doing so, help others, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of people, especially when, like when this happened, I think there was a lot of breaks that, all of a sudden, like a lot of us kind of just like, okay, let's take, my first, like, just to give you my perspective and my insight, like when this happened, me and like, all the people that were around, all of us kind of looked at each other and said, okay, step back. Let's look at this at a very high level here. What's going on? And, that was kind of the first kind of week was, okay, let's assess what's going on and let's see how serious this is. To be honest with you, I know my opinion is this is a piece of the government. I'm not going to get into that opinion, but, we kind of knew what was going on after the impeachment trial. So like, we knew something was going to happen. This happened to be it. And so we were in a way waiting for it. And, and then it struck. And then we were all kind of like looking at each other and we were like, okay, how deep is this going to go? And then, being in Texas, when we talk about Texans and you hear about Texans, it's real. We fly our fly. There is flags that fly just as high as the United States of America flag within a mile of me. And everybody here does have a gun, and everybody here is not ashamed of being a Texan. We are very proud. And when Texas said they had to shut down, that's when I was like, oh, okay. Like they're taking this real serious. So like that was kind of like, okay, so that was when me and my wife started, and a lot of us, it was, again, that whole community aspect of what can all of us do. I found that, you talk about we all win when we all win came when I was talking to a client. It was the first time that he had made over $10,000 as a realtor at the time. And I was on the phone with him and I was like, look, dude, when we all win, we all win. And it just came out. And then like ever since then it stuck. And I never even knew. It was like one of those like moments where you just say something so raw and it just kind of came out and it stuck with me. And then now I even say, go help somebody else win. And I promise you it's going to help you do the same.
I
So
love
like,
that. Oh,
yeah,
I
because
love
like,
that. Yes.
yeah, because when you go help somebody else win and then they become a winner, you're then seen as being able to help someone else win. So that's going to help you be seen as an authority with whatever you help them win with. So again, it's all very. I'm a big believer that everything's connected. I'm a big believer that all of us are connected in a very specific way. I've seen too many weird things happen that are not coincidental. It's really amazing to me that I had a client once that she was in like a relationship type coach, and she like, I don't have a superpower, and she was like, I'm dull. I deal with people that fight, like I don't. She was like in her 50s, I think, and she just like was like that classic like just lawyer type, like if you think about it, like that classic like very emotionalist lawyer type. But she
Right.
had one thing she did very well. She had this recipe from her grandma that made chocolate chip cookies. And I remember we were talking on our initial calls together, and it hit me like a light bulb. I was like, moderating chocolate chip
I
like it was
love
like, and she never seen it. She's like, nah. And I was like, listen to me. I was like, just hear me out. I was like, for the next week, I want you to have so many chocolate chip cookies in there that you will make people fat when they come. I want you to have like, literally, I want there to be like 100, like every meeting, I want there to be 30 on a plate. Like, just make those cookies and have them right in front of your people. And she was like, and the thing was, is, we eventually, once we proved this concept, she started falling in love with what she was doing again, because she was able to really be creative. I believe that we're all creative. We all like have our creative tendencies, and we all like want to make something within our life like the best it can be. That's our superhuman power, right? So like mine, or my vehicle to my life, or my highest intention is understanding. Like, I just understand digital marketing. I understand how things work. I understand patterns. I understand buying patterns is the big thing on digital marketing. I understand movement and mass movement of people and all that stuff. I just understand stuff it is not that I didn't have to learn it. I've spent thousands of hours learning it. It's just when I learn it, it makes sense the first time.
Right,
So, I've been
it's
able,
right, it came to you
yeah.
pretty after learning it, it stuck
Mhm.
and it became just a part of your
And it's
DNA almost,
and it,
and
and it,
that's
and it seems
that's
easy. It
good
seems
work.
easy.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Andrea is saying your superhuman, actually, she's sharing your words. Your superhuman power is what elevates you from the rest, and that goes
Mhm.
along with your client superhuman power was the
Mhm.
chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
And it's like that makes so much sense. And Helena's
Yeah.
saying amen. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's another Texan too.
There you
So
go.
yeah, there you
Hail
go.
Texas there.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
mean,
And
it's true. And it's crazy. Some people want it to be this big pie in the sky thing. I got to be so good at this thing. No, you don't. Chocolate chip cookies, cutting
I love
hair,
it. And life
making
is a
brownies,
game that
Yeah.
you know, and so Helene is saying, if life is a game, then I'm surely going to have a good
You
time,
need
and
to.
I
You need
love
to.
that. And so, in fact, I want to share a couple pictures. You sent these over, and I'm like, okay, there's
There you
there's
go.
there's some fun
Yeah.
here. You're
It's
like
got to have
you're
some
like
fun.
it's like having fun. I'm like,
You got
and
to.
you're like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
That was
there's a
in
common
Colorado.
theme going on
Oh,
here.
yeah. That
It's
was,
like,
yeah, all these are actually, so I was actually on shows like that one. I wasn't. That one I was actually. I don't have the car anymore, but I used to have a Maserati, so I was over at like where I was getting my car. That's the reason I don't have the Maserati anymore, because how much it costs to get maintenance on it. But yeah, I was over there. So like I just try to have fun, and I have a coach of mine that I work with. He's kind of one of those life coach types. His name's Brendan Burchard, and
oh,
he's all about productivity, and he's all about being efficient and being and habits. He's very big on habit forming. And anyway, he's just a very positive guy. And one of the things that has always stuck with me, that's very big with him, is he has this thing called bring the joy. So wherever, in whatever situation you're in, whatever room you're in, whatever story, that journey, whatever it is that you're sitting in right now, I'm sitting in this room on this with you. That's the only thing that I'm focused on. I got 100 things over here that I got to do. I got stacks of stuff I got to get done. But right now, I am literally on here with you, completely zoned in, and I'm bringing as much joy as I can to this conversation, so that the people on the other end can possibly feel heightened emotion. And then here's the thing: people are not always going to remember what I did for them, but I can guarantee you this: they're always going to remember how I made them feel. And if you're
Absolutely.
able to lift emotion, game over.
Absolutely. Okay, so you I want to understand what it is because you and
Mm-hmm.
your wife, your
Mm-hmm.
podcast, you both have podcasts. You
Mm-hmm.
are an author, you're a
Mm-hmm.
coach. You guys are combining. Now she's NLP and she's hypnotist,
Mm-hmm.
and I was reading that she also gets up on stage and does that whole thing, which is always fun. You know, you go to any kind of
Mm-hmm.
event and you have the stage presence there. So you have that. You have you, and then you're out there with this community, and
Mm-hmm.
right now it's been like you said, you guys made a conscious choice to start offering at like a ridiculously low amount price point,
Mm-hmm.
and so that people right now can actually have a chance to follow their dreams, do what they want to
Yep.
do. There's no reason why they can't.
Sure. Yeah. I
So,
mean,
so tell
really.
us about
Yeah.
that. If someone's saying, "Okay, I like this guy," he's real. He's down to
Mm-hmm.
earth. He's talking my language. He's bringing me joy, and I want to know more. You are building this community, and you actually have a Facebook page where
Mm-hmm.
you're bringing people in and giving them
Mm-hmm.
value, and then it can
Mm-hmm.
take them to where they want to go. So let's
Sure.
talk what that's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 4 months ago, my wife and I kind of decided that we wanted to kind of bring what we were doing, and we had just had two. I'm in the digital marketing space, and then she's in the mindset space. So
Right.
those two work really, really well together, for whatever reason. But we have multiple coaches. We work with Frank Kern. He's a probably, in my opinion, probably the best digital marketer that's alive right now. And he has a mindset course and all of his stuff that we're in, and then we have, like, you got Ed Milet talks about NLP, Tony Robbins is certified in NLP. So I mean, all those big guys, they're all with NLP. And then, with me, it was in digital marketing. So me and Tiffany had separate businesses. We still do. So I have my private clients. She has her private clients, and then we have a 12-week course together, and we also have our Better Leads Academy together. So the Better Leads Academy will then have live courses every week. We have four. We have four, like, days out of the week where we'll have. I'm sorry, 5 days out of the week technically. Well, one day is a study hall where you will have, like, things to do within the academy and within the community to then level up, to then build your business and do things better. And we're interactive within that group every single day. We have deep dive days, masterclass days. We have times where they can interact with us in a small group, and we can answer their questions and help them with stuff. We have live days where we'll go on and, like, get it's a lot of fun because we're getting to build a group of people around us that is ride or die. It's just really neat. It's a lot of fun. And then, but yeah, so, like, but if you want to, do have a free group that we do promote, and it's about 4 months old. And we decided when we were going to come together that we were going to put a group together. And this is one of the things that we do teach. Within 100 days after putting this group together, we had, maybe I do the math. Within 100 days of having this group, within 90 days of having this group together, we had generated roughly about $90,000, about $91,000 in contracts. So we were averaging about $1,000 a day, a little over $1,000 a day. We're still doing that really well. The best part is we are doing this all organically. A lot of people believe you got to, we run ads and stuff, of course, but a lot of people believe you have to run ads to make money. Well, in this case, with the group, we naturally do things. I mean, it's not just the group. We have other things like the profile funnel and writing specifically, doing specific types of posts, promoting it a specific way, promoting the group like I'm promoting it within press. I mean, there's a lot of things that we teach around this, but within 90 days, we were able, or within now 100 days, because I don't know what it was at 90, within 100 days, we were able to roughly get around 1,400 emails for free that we were able to add to our list. And we've been able to then build a system where people get into the group. We offer free stuff. And then when we offer that free stuff, we get them on the phone calls with us. And we have very specific types of phone calls, and then we have appointment setters in place and all this stuff in place. And then, yeah, I mean, it's literally just a well-oiled machine. Once somebody comes into the group, there's literally a rabbit hole they go down to see if they want to hop on a phone call with us and be a part of the community. And, we've had probably 20 or so people sign up since then. But then we've had some of those people be private clients of ours, which, is 10, 15, $25,000, things. So, it's just been a great way to build a community, and it's been a way to build a community and build an authority, make ourselves out as an authority, but also build a sense of community where people can come together and help one another. So it's a great thing. It really is a cool thing. And
okay, so
we've seen massive success with it in a very short time.
So you've seen this success, and then your clients, you are saying, have seen the success too, and that's during this period of time right now, because that's really something I think that a lot of people that I'm talking to right now, they're like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to shift? How am I going to do this? And this is it's an important decision for all of us right now, because we're all in the same boat. But I want to join us. Andrea has here join us to support Sidney.
This is all the people that are coming to talk to you.
Oh,
Roshana, Carmen, and
So this is wonderful. Join us.
That right there, Roshana and Carmen are two of my clients, and
I love Roshana. I actually interviewed her.
When it came to the source of community, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Roshana is one of my top clients. She is a hustler. She came in, and Roshana had the idea. She had the book. She had the idea. She was kind of starting to speak, but she kind of had something. I don't want to say she was being held back. She's never been held back, but she kind of just needed a little bit of kind of direction. Okay, what do I need to do now? Okay, that's done. What's next? And we were able to kind of start building steps. And the biggest thing, and this is so huge, and it's just one word, you're able to help her build momentum. By simply getting up and just doing work every single day, she was able to build momentum. And the coronavirus has sold more than me, so that's the thing. And the girl she's selling mindset. She's like a giver of awesomeness. So she's selling mindset. Yeah. She's selling, just being awesome. She's anti-bullying, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love her message.
She is just an amazing human being. But, it's one of those things, I think, when you're able to make that oh, yeah, it's great. And make sure you get her book, The Giver of Awesomeness. It's great. But with that, her and Carmen and, Tiffany, of course, is my wife. So she's in Success Secrets for Purpose-Driven Entrepreneurs with us. But, their groups, they're going to talk to you about their groups, and their groups, although it might not be 1,400 people, Roshana's made multiple sales out of her group in just the past couple of months of working with me. Carmen is understanding and figuring out now how to, deliver the message. We went out with a couple of things, and we've made a couple of pivots, even during this coronavirus, and she's learning that game. And then by learning that game, she's built momentum, which is now she's able to help multiple people. And those are just two of multiple. I've worked with close to 700 people now. It's like, those are just two examples of just people that are taking action and doing it right now in real time as they're working with me, are now on this show. But here's the cool part. It wasn't just the Sid show. It was Tiffany was involved with that. Andrea was involved with that. I got them in touch with Andrea. We have my team, my amazing and awesome team, and everybody around us. We within the academy, we have multiple influencers. We have previous coaches that we've hired that bring their knowledge into our academy, because we never wanted it to be the Sid and Tiffany show. We wanted it to be the best of our community coming together with our superpowers to be able to help that community become a better place. We have a great podcast. We worked with a great guy named Zach Babcock who worked with us on our podcast. My podcast is, had gotten up to number 8 on marketing and iTunes within 48 hours of it going live. Wow. Which is remarkable. Tiffany's podcast is top 50 in 9 countries, and is averaging about 5,000 to 6,000 downloads. She just got Billie Jean, which is massive influencer in our space, on her podcast. She's had Marshall Silver and some massive names on her podcast. Mine, I don't interview people on mine. Mine's just me. But, it was it's just, I guess, understanding that piece of the game. And then just, we went to a lot of virtual summits, a lot of podcasts. We've, understood that getting people around us right now is big. So we started doing shows like this. Why? Because right now, this is what's going on. Again, let's take a step back and look at it at a high level. Y'all are watching this right now, and it's this Sid guy talking on a phone because he just moved in and doesn't have internet yet. And then you got, Tamara on the other end asking me questions, and we're talking, and we're hopefully communicating with people. Let's take a step back. What's going on with this interview? Okay, I'm coming on, and you have people like Carmen, Roshana, and all the people they know, and the people that I know, the people that Andrea has gotten into my list and invited people to watch this show that are coming to you. And then there's going to be a good chance some of those people are going to, oh man, I like this girl. I like this woman. I like what she's about. Start watching some of your other shows, which is going to get exposure to some of your people from my list that would have never gotten exposure, right?
Right.
You are putting me on this show, and you're giving me, basically, you're using this list that you have put your blood, sweat, and tears in, just like me, of people that like you and trust you, and you're putting me on your show at a very, very, very high, at a very, very, just saying, hey, this guy, Sidney, I trust him, and you should too, and he's really good at what he does, and I'm basically getting to leverage, in a way, your people, and I'm getting to build my list from you. So yes, we're doing this and we're having a conversation, but we're understanding the game now of exactly what this conversation is going to do for you, is going to do for me, is going to do for the people that were invited from my group, is going to do for the people that came from your group. And we're seeing how all those, 4 different entry points of people, all of us are able to win.
Yeah.
And that's how I think. And that's exactly at it's extremely high level. And I know some people are like, well, duh, Sid. Yeah, I get it. But it's not duh for everybody. So, at an extremely high level, understanding that we're able to all benefit here. Now that we understand, now we all can benefit. Let's figure it now. How do we execute and benefit from the knowledge that I might be able to give, from the knowledge you might be able to give, or from what we're bringing to the table as a whole? And that's how I look at everything, and that's how I'm able to figure out how can every single piece of the equation win with what's going on in the current situation. And by doing that, you help surround yourself with people that are winning, which helps build your momentum 5-6 times faster.
And I love the way you explained that. Thank you for being so thorough with it, and the pieces of the puzzle, because as we start to close this up, I really am I'm grateful that you came on to the show, because I haven't had really a business person in like you for a while, and it's time, because right now we need to be looking at that piece of the puzzle for many people that do watch this, that they are entrepreneurial, and many of them are feeling like the deer in the headlight. Okay, now what? And it's like, okay, yes, let's get back to the basics. Let's look at it. Let's just maybe pivot a bit. Again, going back to the furniture salesperson, going to Roshana, the different examples, and then saying, okay, now how can I today affect what's going to happen for tomorrow? Because there is so much out there that is available for all of us. And if we get this moving in a positive direction and we get the business flowing, it may look different because we're in, quote unquote, a lockdown situation. However, it is called commerce, and we are moving it through the internet and through social media, and just slightly pivoting it. And it's time for us to be saying, okay, this is what it is. This is where we are today, guys. Embrace it. Find a way to work with it, and then go forward and move and make whatever it is that you are doing happen. And so you put it together so very nicely. So as we start to close, what is it that like if I was to say, all right, give us your words of wisdom in a nugget, what would it be?
Take action.
Take action.
99% of people don't take action.
I love it. I agree with you 100%.
People sit there all day, take action. How about this? This one's going to hurt some people. Do what you tell yourself you're going to do in your head.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Boom.
That hurt. That stung. Yeah, that stung. I know that stung. But, even me sitting here saying it puts chills up my back, because there's things that, I've fallen short on that I probably could have done better at. I'm not perfect. Rehearse, review, revise. Put out crap. Okay. And put out crap 2.0. Rehearse, review, revise everything in your life. Right now, me being on this interview is a rehearsal for my next interview to be better. Right. Right now, and what I will do is I'm rehearsing this interview. I'm going to review it afterwards. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? I got another interview in 2 days on Monday. And I'm going to be on. What can I do to be on that interview to possibly be better and help that one more person get 1% better? That next time. But yeah, that would be what I would say. There's people that have hopped on. There's people that are on here right now. I'm going to do all those things. Yeah, this weekend I'm going to do this, and then something's going to come up, and you're going to make 99% of you are going to make an excuse and all this stuff, and then you're not going to take action. And I'm not being I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to come across as being ungrateful or not ungrateful, but I'm trying not to cuss here, but like be an ass, just like be really mean. But that's not what I'm trying to be here. What I'm trying to do is say it in a way that's going to make you mad enough to actually do something about it. Taking action isn't hard enough. How about you actually do something that you actually say you're going to do? Be that better mother. Be that better father. What are you going to do that? How are you going to do it? What's the execution plan? Okay, you're sitting here in this chair right now watching this guy in a red shirt and white hat with this crazy thing from Las Vegas behind me. And, you're listening to me talk about, okay, be this, be that. Be better at your business. Okay, have you actually tried? Like, I had to have this conversation with myself a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still having this conversation. I was talking to my wife about it on a walk today, and it was just kind of like, if I kind of lost, like, am I really trying at 100%? Because to be honest, this is a time for me who just kind of go whatever's in front of me. I just kind of go with it, and then if I got to, Andrea keeps me busy. So like, if I got to go to LA and then Las Vegas and then, Florida to speak at events, I'm fine to do that. It's whatever's on my calendar. It's just my calendar, right? It's gotten less. We've still made lots of money, but it's gotten less. I just kind of take whatever's in front of me. So like, again, it can be very easy for me to become complacent. So I had to kind of have that conversation with myself of, am I really going out there and trying the best that I can do, to put out my superpower? So I have to have that conversation with myself too. I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect. I'm not sitting here saying I'm better than anybody. I'm sitting here saying, what can I say? What can I do that will make you that just mad enough that where you're actually going to do something? You don't have to pick up and move halfway across the country like I did, but you do need to have, one thing that I did have that you will have is literally that desire that it's right under here, under your belly button. It's called your unconscious mind. And it's literally going to, like, you're going to feel that you want to literally just have, it's not anger. It's grit. It's like, I have to do this. If I don't do this, my world ends. That's where I was at. It was do or die. If I will have to figure it out. That was where I was at. I have to do this. And, I had to get that way. And it was the beginning of change for me. I had to have that, what we call in our business, a pattern interrupt within my life to where I had to be able to shift. It hurts. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt. I'm not saying believe me when I tell you, I've had enough emotional trauma over the last 3 years of my demons and my past trying to come in and take over it to kill someone. It is not going to be easy. So get that out of your head. But anything worth having is not going to be easy because everybody then would have it. You have to understand that. What is your funny bone and how are you going to execute and make sure that you stick out far enough that the world sees you?
Perfect. Okay. Well, you know what? You did it. You rounded the whole thing up. You put it together with a nice little bow.
I was nervous.
No, you got it. You got it. and saying good stuff. So true.
Awesome.
Do. A 2-letter word, do, with exclamation point. Yep, do. So as we close today, the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome, celebrate success through service. Sid Clevenger, you are a service hero. You have taught today how people should just get up and do. Get up and face and do what you say you're going to do. Just actually do it. And I love it. And thank you for sharing your story, because your story has not only inspired, I'm sure, everybody out there, but it inspired me. I needed to hear your story today. So
Thank you.
thank you for
Yes, ma'am.
sharing it. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
And
Now, in the comments, either Andrea or yourself said if you can put how to get a hold of you if someone wants to
yeah.
follow you, go to your Facebook page, find out more about what's going on. If you can share that information in the comments, that would be wonderful. Okay?
Yeah. Let me go in here, and I've never been in this app before. I use Zoom, so this is a little different. So just bear with me here. But I'm going to go in here. You all
Well,
can
you
just
can
connect
you
with
can
me
do
on
that
Facebook.
even after, yeah,
Oh, I
after
can do
the
it after.
show. You can
Okay, my
go,
bad. I
yeah,
didn't
you
know.
can
This
just
is
go
new.
back in the comments and just
Yeah,
copy and paste links and such so people
sure.
can find you, and that would be wonderful. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show. I hope somebody got inspired today. I hope somebody was helped today in some way. That was, my biggest
Well,
goal.
I was inspired. I hope that counts.
Awesome. That works. I'll take it. Hey, I'll take it.
Excellent. And then for the Chemo
Thank you.
Buddies for Life, tonight is Friday, TGIF, and we are having a party. We are actually having a date
Awesome.
night. So dress up, get ready to go. Yes, I said dress up, get your favorite beverage, whatever that may be, and join us at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Pacific. Okay.
Danny
Got it.
Rocco is going to be there with me. It's going to be fun.
Awesome.
See you then. Okay, bye.